The humming of the drones grew deafening, closing in like a swarm of mechanical predators, but the glowing structure in the clearing, pulsing with that hypnotic rhythm, seemed to silence everything around it. The man, clutching the kiwi fruit like a lifeline, hesitated for only a moment before stepping closer. The little bird followed, its tiny talons clicking against the uneven ground. Every nerve in his body screamed at him to stay vigilant, yet there was a strange pull he couldn't resist. The glow wasn't just light, it was alive, vibrating in a way that made his skin crawl, yet filled him with an odd sense of belonging. He touched the surface. It was warm, almost alive, like skin stretched over bone. Suddenly, the entire jungle seemed to respond. Trees rustled without wind, animals howled in the distance, and the drones abruptly halted, their hums fading into silence. Then it happened. The structure shifted, splitting open with a sound like tearing metal, revealing a dark chamber within. The man stepped back, his instincts warring with his curiosity. The kiwi bird hopped ahead, fearless, disappearing into the void. A moment later, its chirp echoed back, beckoning him. The jungle around him grew still, unnaturally so. He knew the drones were still out there, but it was as if the jungle itself had drawn a line in the sand. Whatever was inside this glowing monolith, it was his only chance to uncover the truth. He stepped inside. The walls pulsed with light, casting his shadow in fractured patterns. Symbols, alien and yet familiar, etched themselves into his mind as he moved deeper into the chamber. It wasn't just a structure, it was a machine, a living organism and something far older than he could comprehend. At the center, he found a pedestal holding an orb that glowed with the same energy as the structure. The kiwi bird perched on the pedestal, tilting its head at him as if urging him to take it. His hand trembled as he reached out, the orb's warmth seeping into his fingertips. As soon as he touched it, the orb lit up, and a flood of memories, not his own, rushed into his mind. Images of other test subjects, all failures. Images of the scientists who had created him, their faces twisted with greed and fear. And then images of the jungle itself, as if it were alive, protecting its secrets. The orb spoke, not in words but in feelings. It told him he wasn't the government's experiment anymore. He was the jungle's creation now. They had used him, but the jungle had claimed him, adapting him to survive, to thrive, to protect. The ground shook. Outside, the drones swarmed, their red lights cutting through the canopy as they moved toward the structure. The orb pulsed faster, and he understood what it wanted him to do. He stepped out of the chamber, the orb glowing in his hand. The drones descended, but they faltered, their lights flickering. The jungle came alive. Vines lashed out, trees groaned as they bent and snapped, and the drones were ripped apart like paper. The man stood in the center of the chaos, the orb's energy coursing through him. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was part of something bigger, something ancient. And as the last drone fell, the jungle grew quiet once more. The little kiwi bird chirped and perched on his shoulder, a silent partner in whatever came next. He looked back at the glowing structure one last time. Whatever this was, it wasn't over. The government thought they were in control, but they had no idea what they'd unleashed. He turned and walked into the jungle, the orb still glowing faintly in his hand. Somewhere far away, the scientists who had created him were watching, their faces pale with fear. The man had become more than their experiment. He was now the jungle's weapon, and the jungle was awake.